what we're doing here is we're discussing what a proof that it has to do with if there was blood and it would have come earlier. So Hillel actually has this discussion with Shammai, and Hillel said, "Don't you agree that if there was a box that had taris in it, and you find the sheretz, that it's going to be tamei l'mafreya?" Amalei aval. He says yes. Aval means yes in this case. It happens. You see in Rashi it says kein hadavar. Aval, kein hadavar. Yes. My hefresh bein zu lezu, but they're so different. Lezu yesh l'shilayim, lezu ein l'shilayim. The box had a bottom; it didn't fall out, so I can say that the sheretz was there earlier. But by the woman, if the blood was there earlier, it would have come out. You see, that's the reason for Shammai. That's what we're quoting this brisa. Rav Amar Taima de Shammai mishum bittul peri v'rivya. This is an interesting answer. This is our fourth answer. We had hargash. We had chazaka. We had hargasha. Chazaka is assumption, assumed status, sensation. The anatomy, her body would have let it out right away if it would have come. Now the last one is bittul peri v'rivya. That if you suspect that there was blood there, then her husband's always going to be afraid to be with her. Maybe she's tummy. If you're going to start saying, going back. Now, the truth is it has nothing to do with the halacha. But it still may put fear into the husband's mind. Psychologically, okay, we'll see. Tanya Nami Hachi, there's also a brisa that sort of supports that. Amalei Shammai LaHillel. Shammai tells to Hillel, if you're going to retroactively make a woman impure, you're going to take away reproduction. You won't have children. I'm sorry?
There's an easy fix for that. Just do the bedika.
Yeah, but the bedika, what does it help for?
From this minute on.
No, not according to Hillel. According to Hillel, it goes back.
If you found blood now, it's actually saying that it's going to go back.
It's retroactive.
From the last thing. Yeah.
Practically speaking today, that's why we don't. Okay? When you don't have to, that's why we don't. But if someone was concerned, and therefore that was going to prevent him, so then he could do a bedika.
Yeah, but the problem is that if the bedika tells me that she's tummy, possibly,
right,
and it also tells me that she could have been tummy beforehand as well, so then psychologically he's always going to be concerned that he never knows if she's really, really tahar.
Why not? Every time.
Because immediately after the bedika could be now she's starting to become tummy. I'll only find out by the next bedika.
Okay, so in theory he can do it. It won't be done before and after.
And the one afterwards tells me that she was tummy from before.
Paranoia. That's not a realistic suffix.
That's the concern here.
Okay.
That's the concern I hear. They had someone asked the chief rabbi Kahana Shapiro, Rabbi Kahana, who was the chief rabbi of Israel. Someone asked him, when you take the peel off the cucumbers, so on the inside it's not, you get a little bit more than the peel. Is that baltashchus? So he says that's not religion. That's OCD. That's your. My wife told me in this book they were describing years ago these girls that were peeling potatoes, and they said one girl took off too much of the potato. They told her, you'll never get a shidduch if you can't get just the skin. To be able to peel. Okay. So now we have a problem because we had brises that sort of supported different answers. What do the other answers do with those brises? It's going to be obvious how the Gemara is going to answer. The Gemara is going to say that even though we have a brisa that supports answer A, B, C, or D, we had 4 answers here, but that's only a support because it's saying, you, Hillel, think like this. So I'm telling you, according to your mistake, that that is not correct. But really, I don't hold like that anyway. That's how we're going to avoid these issues. It goes like this. Mandatani Hailishna, the one that says this version, Hatanya Ki Hailishna, but we have a brisa that says the other way. That says he spoke to him about a basket with a bottom. Dimisa Davidami Karaviasi. What does he do with that? The Gemara says, Hasam Hillel Hudakatai. Over there, Hillel was mistaken. And Sover, time of the Shammai, he thought that the reason for Shammai, Dimisa Davidami Karaviasi. He thinks that Shammai's reason is the blood would have fallen out. So the Kamakshile Kupa. So that's why Hillel asked him, but what about a box Shammai says, my real issue is that it's all because of Peru Revu. And we don't want the person to be psychologically all disturbed. This, that you made a mistake, the kamakshis kupa, and you asked about a box, that's not a question anyway, even though that's not really my opinion. Now I'll go the other way. Laman Tani Hailish, the one that said the other version. Hatani Ki Haichlishna, but we have the other version. We have Mishum Periya Verivya. Mishum Bittel Periya Verivya. Shammai told him, you're going to stop people from having children. Achi Karmalei Hillel Shammai. No. What does Hillel tell Shammai? In. Is that an in or an ain? In. Taima Kamrit. The truth is, Hillel tells Shammai that if it had to do with the blood, then it's true that the blood would have come out right away. In time, you're correct about the blood coming out right away. But you should still make a gzeira derabanan. Shama, you're always machmer. What's going on with you? So Amarle Yimkain, but the Alta B'nai Yisrael period of review. We're not going to make a siyag, a fencer on the Torah here. It's going to have consequences which we don't want. The Hillel, what does Hillel do? Period of review, Mikamina. Am I talking about period of review? We're talking about for the husband being tamei. It's nothing to do with that. L'taras the kamina. We're only talking about making tamei grain that she touched retroactively. It's nothing to do with the husband. B'shamei l'taras nami. Namila, Shami knows that we're only talking about Taras, but he says, Dimkin libay noikva you perish. Libay noikva you perish means his heart was going to pound and he's going to be concerned, even though he knows it has nothing to do with the period review. Okay, now we're going to have 4 cases. Shalayim b'dukim b'chusim b'zavis. Simon, that's the 4 cases. It has to do with Tuma in a box. Tuma in a box. And when we assume that it was there before, different ways. It's Machlekes Chizki and Rabbi Yochanan. We have different ways of learning this. Itmar. Statement of Amiraim. Here we have real Amiraim that are coming into Kupa Shenishtamshu ba b'taras. A box that was used for taras, b'zavazu, in this corner. V'nimtze sheretz b'zavas acheres. But you find the sheretz in the other corner, let's say corner of the box right now. Chizki Amar Taharis or Rishonis Taharis. Chizki says it's all tar. Why? Because when you put the taras in, you took it out, when you were using the box, you would have noticed it. Everything is tar. Rabbi Yochanan taras rishonis tamei. Rabbi Yochanan says everything is tamei. You found now a sheretz in there. Vaha, what's going on over here? We have a kasha on Chizkiah. Vashamai v'hillel maida b'kupa the taras rishonis tamei. This was a brisa where Shammai and Hillel had a discussion, and Hillel tells Shammai, don't you agree that if there's a sheretz in a box, that all the grain earlier was tamei? So why over here does Chizkiah say that it's tar? It was clearly Hillel and Shammai both agree that over there it was going to be tamei. The whole machlekes there was a woman have the same. Would the blood be held in like in a box that has a bottom? The Gemara says, over there the box had a bottom. We're talking about a box that doesn't have a bottom. How do you use a box that doesn't have a bottom? So it's like this. Turn it sideways. The top. No, it doesn't have a top either. But what we're talking about is that it's used sideways like this. It's used put on its side, and then when you want to use it, you just tilt it. When you want to stay empty, you tilt it one way or the other way. But it doesn't really mean a box. It just means a board that has it's a square. So what's going on over here? When you tilted it over to use it, to empty it out, if there was a sheretz there, it would have fallen out. The fact that there's a sheretz in there now means that when you emptied it, there was no sheretz there. It also would have fallen out before. So now the question is, my time with the Rabbi Yochanan. So why does Rabbi Yochanan say it's tamei? Sheretz couldn't have been there if it would have fallen out. So it says, Ein la shalayim v'yesh la ignim. Yes, it doesn't have a bottom, and you're therefore using it on the side. But it has a lip that's bent in, and these things become very complicated, especially when you want to toivel something in the mikveh, because when you put it in the mikveh, let's say, just have a bent over lip, so when you put it in, so sometimes it gets an air pocket there. So besides for the air pocket there, but also when you empty out, could be the sheretz got in there, right over there. When you store grain in these barrels, in these containers, there's always like a little lip inside, and when you turn it back over, it falls back down. So the sheretz did not come out, and that's why Rabbi Yochanan is saying it's tamei. Okay. V'hatanya is supposed to be v'hatanan. It's taught in the Mishnah. This is a proof. Madle, medale, asara dli mayim b'zeach hazev nimtz sheretz be'achim miyam hu tamei v'kulan tayrim. You're taking water, and you're pouring water into a bucket, and you're pouring the water, and you're going back and forth in the water, and then you see in the bucket, you find the sheretz. So all the water that's in the barrel that you're pouring the water, that's all tahar, but the water that's in the bucket is tamei.
This gives an amora.
Yeah. V'amar Reish Lakish, Mishum Rabbi Yana, and Reish Lakish says the name of Rabbi Yana Leishan Ol Shein La'ignim. When do we say that all of the water is tahar that's in there, and the only thing that's tummy is the bucket? That's only if the bucket didn't have that lip. But if it has the lip, then we would say that maybe the sheretz was there originally, and all the water touched the sheretz as on its way in. Right. Proof that oignim holds in the sheretz. Leima Chizkiya Leslie the Rabbi Yanai. Now we have a problem. So what does Chizkiya do? Chizkiya said that it's tar. So he says no. He agrees with Rabbi Yanai, but he doesn't agree with by grain. Maya sharki, peirale sharki. Water, when you tilt it a little, it slips right out. So you didn't have to turn the whole thing over. So therefore, the sheretz would have been held in by the lip. But by the grain, you have to turn the whole thing over. The sheretz would have fallen out. So he agrees with Rabbi Yanai, who's earlier, but because that's talking about water. But he still says by grain it's tamei. Inami maya lekapid alayu, pera kapid alayu. By the water, he doesn't care to spill it all out. But by the grain, he would have spilled it all out. See my kids in the bath, they take they have shampoo in their hair, so they take like the cup and they pour it over. They don't look because they don't open their eyes. They're just in this water like everywhere you come back. They don't look at what's going in, what's going out. It could be all the toys are in the thing, because the ducks. So they don't see if there's a sheretz. If there's a sheretz by the water, you're not so careful. You go quick, like this and that. But by the food, you try to get everything so it would have been empty. Iba Yasema. We're up to the second shot over here. You notice in the parentheses, we said Shalayim, Bedukin, Mechusim, Bezah. We just did the Shalayim aspect. It didn't have a bottom. Now we're up to the Bedukin. When did Shammai and Hillel agree that it's going to be Tamei? That's Kupashena Beduka, where you didn't check it first. Kipligi, Chizki Rabbi Yechon Bekupa Beduka, where you checked it first. Mar Savar, Chizkiya holds Habadka, you checked it, and there's nothing there. Mar Savar, Emem Silikideh Nafal. The other one says that, no, I know you checked it, but it could be right after you checked it, it fell in. The Gemara says, 1 second. But Hillel and Shammai were comparing this to a woman. But Dumya di Isha Ktani. It's compared to a woman. And the Isha Beduka. Beduki. And nevertheless, the woman was Tamei, according to. And so what would this be? This would be a question on Chizkiya. Chizkiya says it's tar. The Gemara says, "Kiven the shechibadam k'sheina beduka dami." No, the woman is actually considered like eina beduka. So that would answer Chizkiya. Why Chizkiya says, "Viba yisema kimay desham evil bekupa sheina mechusa." This is our third. You see the mechusin it said in the parentheses. This is a siman to remember. If you want to remember this Gemara, you just remember shalayim beduka mechusin bezavis, and then you'll know the whole Gemara. So we're up to mechusa. That Hillel and Shammai. Beduka, we said that by a box that was examined, it could have fallen in later. We compared it to a woman. Yeah, because a woman is Eina Beduka because she has blood. So now we're up to Mechusa, that if it's covered. When the Shammai and Hillel agree that it's Tamei, Bekupa Sheina Mechusa, when you never cover it, and it could have fallen in. That when you take out, you always recover it.
Why don't they, on all these cases, why don't they say a difference between Shusarav and Shusayah? You get all your answers pretty easily.
I'll tell you why. The Gemara is going to discuss it, but it has to do with Yesh Ladas Lishal. The only time I make a difference between Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Hashanah is when I'm dealing with the person becoming tummy.
What about Kalim?
Not Kalim. That was when a person that has to be a case of a person because Dumya de Saita, it has to be comparable to a Saita that there is someone there that I could ask.
Okay. So it's going
We'll
to be
see.
a question on the next
The Gemara is
one.
going to mention it in passing in another area. So the Gemara says, 1 second. Mechusa hechi nafal. If it's covered, so how did anything get in there? So kagan shetashmish al yidei kisei, because you open it up and you cover it. Rabbi Yochanan would hold that maybe when you open it up, it fell in. Gemara says, "Vadum yedisha ktani visha mechusi." What does it mean, isha mechusa? Rashi says there's no blood that comes to the woman from outside, but Taisus learns that what it means mechusa means that if there would have been blood, she would have felt it. So how can you compare? Because Shammai and Hillel are talking about Eina mechusa, and they compared it to a woman. A woman is considered mechusa, so you don't have a good comparison. Gemara says no. Kiven d'shchicha b'dam k'shein mechusa damid. A woman is considered Eina mechusa. So the comparison Shammai and Hillel was correct. The machlekes Rabbi Yochanan is talking about a box that's covered. V'ba Yasema, the last one, Kimay de Shammai v'Hillel. When do Shammai and Hillel agree that it's tamei? Bezavis kupa. When you find it in the corner of the box. Keep ligi chizk Rabbi Yochanan bezavis bias. When the box got moved from one corner to the other. The Gemara says 1 second. V'kupa kamar. He said the word kupa. It's the corner of the box. Hachi kamar. You have to read it like this. Kupa shenishtab shabataris bezavis bias zu. A box that was in this corner, and in this corner you use taharis. Vital talua bezavis acheres, and you moved it over to the other corner of the house. V'nim t'sheres bezavis acheres, and then you look in the box and you find the sheretz. Chizkiah says that over here it's tummy, over there it wasn't tummy. Rabbi Yochanan savar machsakinan. Rabbi Yochanan says no, we pulled the tumah from it's tummy here. We say it was back over there tummy. The Gemara says mi machsakinan. Do we say tumah goes from one place to another? V'atanan, it was taught in the Mishnah. Naga bechad balayla. Imagine this in a hospital where the nurse or whatever is going around checking the beds and the arrangements. He touched one person, one of the people. He doesn't know if everyone there is alive or not. In the morning he finds that that bed the person was dead. Reb Meir says that I know you touched him by night, but by night he was still alive, because during the day he was alive. Chacham says tummy. Because we follow how it is when you find it.
And here you don't apply Rosh Hashanah, it's people.
You're right. Okay. I don't know. The Tani Allah was taught on it. Kshas mitziyasan, makim mitziyasan. That it's the same thing. The as you find it, and also it needs to be in the same place. So this is a question on Rabbi Yochanan, because Rabbi Yochanan says that you bring tumah from one place to another, and here you say you keep only if it's in the same place. Maybe when we just said is that tumah stays as it is in this place, that's only to actually burn it. It would need the corpse would need to be in the same place. But Rabbi Yochanan that says that machzakinan tumah makam lamakam would be that you just to be in doubtful tumah. So in other words, we're proving over here that we don't draw tumah to another place. Maybe we don't draw tumah bevadai to another place, but we draw tumah besafek to another place. So umitalinan. But would we do that and say that it's safek tumah in another place, vatanan? But it was taught in a Mishnah. Machet shnimsus meleach chaluda. You find a needle.
What's lisra?
Hanimili. When do we say that it needs to be mamish be'oisei makayim? Because we just said over here. Kishas mitziyasan u'b'makam mitziyasan. When does it need to be in the same place to say that it's tamei? That's only to actually burn truma. Okay. To burn truma, because that's vadai. In other words, the person touched the mace. He touched the body. In the morning, we see that the body is dead. So the Chachamim say tamei if the body was in the same place. But if you would have moved it from one place to another, then we would say that it's not, the person's not tamei. We'd say he's only dead in the new place. In the old place where he touched him, he wasn't. He's not tamei. So maybe that's a question on Rabbi Yochanan, because Rabbi Yochanan says you machzik tamei, you do move tamei from one place to another. So we said maybe that's only to burn, but in Suffolk, you don't move it. I think I'm rushing too much. Let's stop it. We'll hold it over here.
Okay.